The small alien ship moved quietly through the dark space near Earth's solar system. Inside the ship, Commander Zeltar watched his screens carefully. His insect-like body shifted in the captain's chair as he studied the empty space around them. His species, the Velcrin, had been traveling through space for thousands of years. They knew how to stay hidden. "Keep our systems quiet," Zeltar said to his crew. His voice made clicking sounds that his species used for talking. "The humans cannot know we are here." The Velcrin government had sent them on this secret mission. They wanted to learn about humans. These strange creatures had only started flying between stars a few decades ago, but they were already claiming entire star systems as their own. The Galactic Council said humans were not important, just another young species learning to leave their home world. But Zeltar's leaders wanted to be sure. "Commander, I found something," said Krell, the sensor officer. "There is a very large ship ahead of us. It has huge power readings." Zeltar looked at his screen. A massive ship floated in space like a sleeping monster. It was dark gray, almost black. The ship had weapons all over its surface. Strange letters on the side said UNSV Defiance in human writing. "A human warship?" Zeltar whispered. His 4 eyes opened wider. "Should we leave, Commander?" Krell asked. Fear filled his voice. "No," Zeltar said. He leaned forward to see better. "This is exactly what our leaders want to know about. Start scanning everything. I want to know about their weapons, their power systems, their defenses, how many crew they have, and where they are weak." The crew looked nervous, but they did what he ordered. The scout ship's strongest scanners turned on. Invisible beams of energy washed over the human battleship, reading everything about it. On the human ship, Lieutenant Commander Jacob Hayes stood in the command center. He held a cup of coffee and watched his crew work. The ship was on a normal patrol and everything had been quiet for 3 days. Around him, people sat at computers watching their sensors. "Sir," called Lisa Morgan from her station, "I am picking up something strange. There is an unusual reading out there." Jacob put down his coffee and walked to her station. "What kind of strange?" "Exotic particles, sir. The pattern looks like scanning technology, but it is not in our database. It is definitely not one of our ships, and it is not any commercial ship we know." Jacob felt his heart beat faster. "Can you find where it is coming from?" Lisa's fingers moved quickly across her keyboard. "Working on it, sir. The signal is weak. Someone is using stealth technology. But whoever they are scanning us very hard right now." "Sound the alarm," Jacob ordered. His voice stayed calm even though he felt excited. "Get the captain to the bridge. We have visitors." Loud alarms rang through the huge warship. 2,000 crew members ran to their battle stations. Captain Richard Barnes arrived in the command center in 90 seconds. He was still putting on his uniform jacket. "Report," he said quickly. "Unknown ship, sir. It is running silent, but it is actively scanning us. The stealth technology suggests it is a scout ship gathering information." Richard looked at the tactical screen. His face became hard. "Is it one of ours?" "No, sir. The signature does not match any human ship or any of our allies. Given the stealth technology and the scanning behavior, I think we just made first contact with someone who does not want to be seen." Richard's jaw tightened. Humanity had met 3 other space-traveling species in the past 15 years. 2 had been friendly, 1 had been careful but not hostile. But Earth's government had one clear rule for every military commander: assume they are dangerous until you know they are safe. "Can we lock our weapons on them?" Lisa shook her head. "Not yet, sir. They are very good at hiding. Really good. But they are so focused on scanning us that they are creating a reflection pattern we can detect. If we use our combat radar, we should be able to find them through their stealth." "Do it." The Defiance's combat systems came alive. Powerful radar and laser beams shot out into the darkness. For a moment, nothing happened. Then suddenly, the tactical screen showed a contact. "Target found," Lisa announced. "We are calling it Bogey 1. Ship class is unknown, estimated mass is 4,000 tons. She is small, sir." Richard smiled slightly. "Helm, turn us toward them. Let us go say hello to our curious friends." Back on the Velcrin scout ship, everything went wrong at once. "Commander, they found us," Krell screamed. His voice became very high with panic. "They are turning toward us. Their active sensors are hitting us with everything they have." Zeltar felt his blood turn cold. "How?" "We are running full stealth systems. I do not know, Commander, but they have locked onto us. They know exactly where we are." "Helm, break away! Maximum speed. Run evasive pattern Delta." But before the scout ship could even start to turn, something happened that made Zeltar's worst fears look small. The data from their deep scan started flooding into the ship's computer. The analysis system began showing results, Commander, Krell whispered. His voice was filled with horror. You need to see this. Zeltar stared at the holographic display. He watched as the computer painted a picture of the human battleship's abilities. With each passing second, the picture got worse and worse. The ship weighed 1.2 million tons. That made it almost 300 times bigger than their scout ship. But it was the weapons analysis that made Zeltar feel like he was dying inside. 52 primary plasma cannons, Krell read from the display. His voice shook. Each one is more powerful than our own dreadnought main guns. 108-point defense laser systems, 40 missile tubes. Each missile can carry a warhead bigger than some bombs that destroy planets. Defensive armor made of materials we cannot even identify. And Commander, that is just what we can confirm. There are power readings deep in the ship that suggest weapons we cannot even recognize. That is impossible, Zeltar said quietly. No species builds ships like this. The power needed alone would be... The power core, Krell interrupted. He pointed at another section of the display. Commander, they are running a contained fusion reaction that makes more energy than some small stars. The heat readings suggest they are only using 60% of their power right now. Zeltar felt his legs go weak. How many crew members? Best guess? 2,000 combat personnel. Commander, this is not a battleship. This is a flying fortress. And according to the data we pulled from their communication networks, it is not even their largest class of warship. They classify it as a heavy cruiser. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. If this monster was just a cruiser, what did humanity call a real capital ship? Emergency jump, Zeltar ordered. Get us out of here right now. They are accelerating toward us, Commander. They are closing in fast. I do not care. Jump us anywhere. Just a new alarm cut through the bridge. The computer's translation system activated automatically. A message appeared on every display on the ship. It was written in perfect Velcrin language. Unknown vessel, this is the United Nations space vessel Defiance. You are ordered to stop your engines and prepare to be boarded for identification and diplomatic processing. Failure to comply will result in the use of force. You have 30 seconds to respond to this message. Zeltar stared at the message. His mind could not understand what he was seeing. They spoke Velcrin? How? His species had never made contact with humanity. Unless... Did we send any language data during the scan? He demanded. Krell's face went even paler than before. The deep scan protocol includes communication network analysis. If their systems are advanced enough, they could have intercepted our scanning data and figured out our language in real time. That is impossible. That would need computing power beyond anything in the known galaxy. Commander, I do not think we know what is possible anymore. The human battleship grew larger in their windows. It was close enough now that they could see the individual weapons tracking their movement. Each gun barrel was larger than their scout ship's main engine. Helm, full stop, Zeltar ordered quietly. Turn off the engines. Send a surrender signal on all frequencies. Commander, do it unless you want to be destroyed in the next 10 seconds. The scout ship's engines went dark. It hung in space like a tiny leaf before a storm. The human battleship approached slowly, taking its time. It was completely secure in its overwhelming power. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Barnes watched the alien vessel comply with his orders. Stand down from general quarters, but keep everyone at battle stations. Jacob, put together a boarding team. Full combat gear, but keep weapons on safe unless we get hostile action. Let us try to make this first contact by the book. Yes, sir, Jacob replied. Sir, for what it is worth, I do not think they wanted a fight. That ship is built for stealth and intelligence gathering, not combat. Richard nodded slowly. Agreed, which means someone sent them here to spy on us. The question is why and what they learned before we caught them. Lieutenant Commander Jacob Hayes put on his combat suit in the armory room. He checked all the seals carefully to make sure no air could leak out. Around him, a dozen Marines did the same thing. Their movements were quick and practiced. Sergeant Nicole Grant, the team leader, inspected each person's equipment with careful eyes. Remember, Jacob said as they got ready to board the shuttle, these are possibly hostile aliens who were caught spying on a military vessel. But they are also possibly our way to understand who else is out here in the galaxy. Keep your weapons on safe unless I give the order otherwise. We are going to try to do this peacefully. And if they try something, sir? Nicole asked. Jacob's face became hard. Then you have permission to protect yourselves and this team by any means necessary. But let us hope it does not come to that. The boarding shuttle left the Defiance and crossed the short distance to the alien scout ship. As they got closer, Jacob got his first clear look at the vessel. It was beautiful in a strange way. It had smooth curves and parts that looked almost like insect body parts. It was definitely not human design. Their airlock is opening, the shuttle pilot reported. Looks like they are being cooperative. Or they are terrified, Jacob said quietly. All right, people. Let us go meet our new friends. The inside of the Velcrin scout ship was cramped and dimly lit compared to human standards. The corridors were just barely tall enough for Jacob to stand up straight. The air had a strange, slightly sour smell that his suit's filters immediately began cleaning. 6 Velcrin crew members waited in what looked like their bridge. Their insect-like faces made it hard to read their emotions, but their body language showed pure fear. Commander Zheltar stepped forward. His translator device made chirping sounds as it changed his speech into English. I am Commander Zheltar of the Velcrin. Sovereignty Scout Vessel Whisper of Dawn, we surrender to your custody and request treatment. According to civilized standards of warfare, Jacob's eyebrows went up slightly. The alien spoke formal, old-fashioned English. I am Lieutenant Commander Jacob Hayes of the United Nations Space Vessel Defiance. We are not here to harm you, Commander, but you were conducting unauthorized scans of a military vessel in our territory. We need to understand why. Zheltar's mouth parts twitched in what might have been nervousness. We were on a reconnaissance mission, gathering intelligence on human military capabilities. Our government wished to assess whether humanity posed a threat to Velcrin interests. And what did you conclude? Jacob asked carefully. The alien was silent for a long moment. Then in a voice barely louder than a whisper, he said, that we should never have come here. Back aboard the Defiance, Captain Richard Barnes reviewed the intelligence data that the Velcrin had gathered during their scan. The ship's chief engineer, Lieutenant Paul Chen, stood beside him. His face looked troubled. They got everything, sir, Paul said quietly. Ship specifications, weapons capabilities, power systems. They even managed to tap into our communication networks for a few seconds. If they had gotten away, they would have delivered a complete tactical analysis of our capabilities to their government. Richard studied the data streams on his screen. But they did not get away, and now they know what we can do. He turned to Paul. From an engineering standpoint, how would you rate their technology? Paul thought about the question. Advanced, sir. Very advanced in some areas, particularly stealth and sensor technology. Their scout ship systems are sophisticated, efficient, and well-designed, but their power generation is nowhere near our level. And their materials science is probably 2 or 3 decades behind ours. That scout ship is built for speed and stealth, not durability or firepower. So they are not stupid, just differently focused. Exactly, sir. They have clearly been traveling in space for a long time, and have refined certain technologies to a very high level, but they have never needed to build the kind of combat vessels we have. Which makes me wonder why. Richard's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? Well, sir, species do not develop massive warships unless they need them, either for defense against external threats or for projecting power against others. Humanity built ships like the Defiance because we have spent our entire history fighting each other. We came into space already knowing how to wage war on a massive scale, but these Velcrin, their ship design suggests they have never had to fight an equal enemy. They have been the top predator in their region of space, until they met us. Yes, sir, until they met us. In the Defiance's holding cells, Commander Zheltar sat in a room that had been quickly changed to fit his body type. Across from him, Lieutenant Commander Jacob Hayes reviewed a computer pad, occasionally looking up at the alien commander. I have been authorized to offer you and your crew a choice, Jacob said finally. You can be kept here as prisoners of war until diplomatic channels can be established with your government. Or you can be released with an escort back to Velcrin space to deliver a message. Zheltar's main eyes focused hard on Jacob. What message? That humanity wishes to establish formal diplomatic relations with the Velcrin sovereignty. That we have no hostile intentions toward your people, but we will defend our territory and our interests, and that we hope this incident can be the beginning of mutual understanding rather than conflict. You would release us, After we violated your territory and spied on your military? Jacob leaned back in his chair. Commander, can I be honest with you? Please. You have seen what the Defiance is capable of. You have scanned our systems, analyzed our weapons, studied our capabilities. What you probably have not realized is that there are 73 ships of the Defiance's class currently in service, with another 20 under construction. We have 6 dreadnoughts that make the Defiance look like a small patrol boat, and our shipyards are expanding production every month. And that is just Earth's fleet. Our colony worlds are building their own defense forces. Sheltar felt his blood turn cold again. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to go back to your government and tell them the truth. Not to threaten them, but to help them understand the situation. Humanity did not ask to be born on a dangerous world. We did not choose to evolve as hunters with brains built for pattern recognition and problem solving. We did not decide to spend 10,000 years perfecting the art of killing each other in increasingly efficient ways, but that is what we are. Jacob's expression became softer. We are also explorers, artists, dreamers, and builders. We create beauty and we seek knowledge. We form friendships across genetic and cultural lines. We have learned slowly and painfully to work together despite our differences. And now we are out here in the galaxy, hoping to find friends and allies. But we will not be victims. We will not be conquered. And we will not back down for anyone who thinks humanity is weak just because we are new to space. Sheltar was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, The Galactic Council believes humanity will destroy itself within a few generations. That your species' aggression and tribal nature will lead to self-destruction. They might be right, Jacob admitted. We have come close before. But we are still here, Commander. We are still learning, still growing, and we are not going anywhere. 3 days later, the Whisper of Dawn left Terran space under escort by a human destroyer. Commander Sheltar stood on his bridge, watching the blue and green world of Earth get smaller in the viewing screen. His crew worked quietly around him, thinking about the experience they had just survived. Helm, Sheltar said finally. Set course for the Sovereignty Core worlds. Best possible speed? Yes, Commander. Estimated arrival in 12 standard cycles. Sheltar settled into his command chair. His mind was already writing the report he would deliver to the Sovereignty High Command. He would tell them about the human battleship, about its terrifying capabilities and the industrial power that had produced it. He would describe the humans he had met, their mixture of politeness and barely controlled violence. But most importantly, he would tell them that the Velcrin sovereignty had 2 choices. They could seek friendship with humanity, or they could stay far, far away and hope the humans never had reason to notice them. Because one thing had become absolutely clear during his time aboard the Defiance. The humans had come to the stars not as beggars seeking a place in the galactic order, but as conquerors who had chosen to be civilized, for now, and the entire galaxy would have to adjust to that reality. Aboard the Defiance, Captain Richard Barnes stood in his ready room, staring at the star chart on his wall. The Velcrin scout ship was just a small dot on the edge of human space now, carrying its crew and their frightening knowledge back to their government. Do you think we did the right thing, sir? Jacob asked from the doorway. Letting them go with all that intelligence on our capabilities? Richard was quiet for a moment. Then he said, We could not keep them forever, and making enemies of an advanced space-traveling species over a reconnaissance mission seems short-sighted. But more than that, I think it is important that the galaxy knows what we are, not to threaten them, but to prevent misunderstandings. Misunderstandings, sir? Humanity has a saying, Jacob, walk softly and carry a big stick. We just showed the Velcrin our stick. Now maybe we can do some walking. And if they decide to test that stick,